Do you want to keep going down the dunking on ETH path? Because I thought that your little flow chart you guys created for the ETH staked ETH sort of cycle that I believe it was 3 arrows was using and capitalizing on was excellent. I don't know if you guys want to touch on anything else before we go to that. Chris, I believe that's slide 11.
Yeah, that's a Bloomberg chart. But I mean, this was like the another arb trade in DeFi. It's just like it's tech debt layered on top of real debt, layered on top of illiquidity risk. It's just, I mean, they deserve to blow up. I mean, these guys like the Three Arrows capital apologists are just it's unbelievable in my opinion. These guys were these guys are taking on irresponsible risk, and essentially the more and more that comes out about from insiders, from people with counterparty exposure to these guys, it wasn't irresponsible leverage, it was fraud. So like saying these guys were great, they were good for the industry, they were champions of it, like nope, fraud, they deserve no respect. And so lever up ETH with staked ETH, put staked ETH in the DeFi protocol, borrow against it, get ETH, and then stake that ETH, and like what a Rube Goldberg machine of nonsense and illiquidity risk, and they blew up. And so that's the end of them. Staked ETH, hopefully it works out, and proof of stake's great. But from what Ethereum lead developers are saying, it's already too complex for 99.99% percent of people on the planet to understand. And I'm personally thinking that the tech debt on Ethereum eventually catches up with itself. I mean, most people would rather use something that's faster and less centralized or less decentralized, right? Like people on using Ethereum don't actually care about decentralization. And that's why, you have people using Solana and whatever, next smart contract platform comes out with some ridiculous monetary premium. So, I think Ethereum moving to proof of stake is actually a pretty big flaw or error, even though they committed to it back in like 2015. I think it would probably be much more sustainable if it was a proof of work network, layer one, but that's just my opinion. And I don't really know anything, so not financial advice, I guess.
Yeah, I would just add too, in terms of what this meant for like Three Arrows Capital too, is like when that basically Luna UST blows up and they have this huge position there. They also have huge positions in, think about GBTC, they own somewhere of like 5%, 6% of shares, all of those going to like pretty strong discount. So, I mean, if you're ever going to redeem any of those or make any money, it's like a longer duration play. So you have huge kind of duration risk here at a time when they needed essentially pull out capital from whatever unsecured lending kind of stuff that they had lost or yield that they couldn't into. So, going into staked ETH and not sure exactly what their position size here, there might be some better kind of like on-chain forensics to show how big this was, but essentially trying to keep the staked ETH position to then borrow against that, to then pull more yield out of kind of the Aave pools and liquidity pools. But then also having this huge position of staked ETH that's kind of turning away from its peg for a lot of reasons. One of those being that, staked ETH being locked up Ethereum essentially till the merge happens. So there's a risk as that peg kind of widens that there's a, bigger market risk of the merge actually happening in there. So as that goes down, their position's going down, and then you're, really locked in these like two longer term duration assets when you have, an incredible amount of kind of unsecured liabilities and yield to pay against. And, it's been said with a lot of institutions with Three Arrow Capital as well, is that, people had accounts with them, whether to do sorts of better trading with lower fees and having money parked there and essentially making a yield on top of that. So it really just became a play at the end here over the last month through May. And I mean, it even surfaced in June with the block that, they were looking to pitch investors on another style of GBTC arbitrage play to try to get some of that capital back. So kind of once this Luna UST blow up really happened and they didn't have the risk management size to deal with it, a lot of these duration positions they were in just kind of perpetuated that even worse until it kind of its final blow up. So.